What if I told you that we can turn language into a weapon? A weapon used to tear apart relationships, the trustworthiness of someone, and even that person's identity. Does that sound too wild for you? If that sounds too wild for you, well, then that's exactly what Anatomy of a Fall, Anatomie d'une chute, does. But let me explain how and why it does that. This incredible film by Justine Triet, it's a gripping courtroom drama, but it goes way beyond just that. When you watch it, it is an outstanding example of what I like to call meta-anthropophagy or linguistic cannibalism. But before I explain how the movie does this linguistic cannibalism, I need to explain the concept of meta-anthropophagy and linguistic cannibalism a little further. If you already subscribed to this channel, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. But please let me explain the concept again for those of you who are coming here for the first time, okay? I'll try to be brief. Basically, in very simplified terms, meta-anthropophagy or linguistic cannibalism describe how languages consume each other through their humans interaction, Anatomy of a Fall does this brilliantly. The film uses French, English, and German because they are the languages spoken by the protagonist, Sandra. And all of those three languages during the film, they represent essential tools for storytelling because each and every one of them adds layers of meaning to every scene. For example, there is this scene in the courtroom where Sandra, the protagonist, has her German used against her to dissect her private thoughts and writings, French, in the other hand, is the language of institutions, In the courtroom, everyone speaks French and she has to adapt her listening to French to understand what's happening, even though she doesn't speak French so good, And the story goes on in that direction, with French being the institutional language. Now, English, on the other hand, and that's why I like this movie and I'm bringing it here today. English, on the other hand, during the movie, it's frequently described as a language of connection between her and her husband. But it also exposes the fragility of their relationship, In other words, and this term is used in the film a bunch of times, English is kind of seen as a common ground for the couple, In the relationship of the couple, English is a common ground. And if we extrapolate this to the globalized world we live in, English has sort of become a common ground, hasn't it? That's why I speak English in this channel, and that's why I write in English in my blog. Despite being born and raised in Brazil, and although I don't have any intentions of moving abroad anytime in the future, I still have to use English in my daily life, living here in Brazil, because as this movie puts it, it has become sort of like a common ground for research and even a common ground for us here in Latin America. In Brazil, we are kind of isolated from all the other countries because we speak Portuguese and all the other countries around us mainly speak Spanish. So it's kind of funny when Brazilians who don't speak Spanish or people from Latin America who doesn't speak English meet each other, because English naturally comes in as a common ground. That's something that happens quite a few times with me, to be honest. So this is where I want to land in this video. This multilingual dynamic in Anatomy of a Fall reflects the real life. Languages can bridge, but they can also act like a barrier, Language can connect us, but can also alienate us. Every linguistic choice in this film and in our own lives carries emotional and cultural weight, making us think about identity, power, and belonging. When I choose to only speak in English in this channel and on my blog, I am in some way alienating a lot of Brazilians who might like these videos. Yet, at the same time, when I speak English, confident with my accent, without worries, without trying so hard to neutralize it all the time, that's kind of empowering for some Brazilians who are ashamed of their accents. And believe me, that's kind of a problem here. Many English schools they rely heavily on neutralizing accents, something that, although I think that there is some utility to that, maybe something that can make it harder for Brazilians to take interest in learning a second language. You know, it's kind of used as a tool of segregation, like something that makes learning and speaking English something exclusively for the upper classes. So seriously, I don't want to take much more than this 6 minutes I already took. If you haven't watched Anatomy of a Fall, Anatomia de uma Chute, I highly recommend that you go watch it. And if you have already watched it, please go to my blog, The Brazilian Mud. I'll leave the link here in the description. Read the full analysis. I go way deeper than I go in these videos. These videos are just an introduction because my objective here is to make you get out of the internet and get out of YouTube and go read something, okay? And go write something and go do something that's more fun than just doom scroll for the rest of your life. So that's it. Thanks for watching. As always, kisses and hugs from your friend in Brazil. I hope we can see each other tomorrow. Bye!